Hi, and welcome back to X's and O's with Dan Orlovsky. I'm Mike O'Hara, brought to you again by Xfinity. And Dan O, the Detroit Lions are coming off a tough 42-30 loss to the Minnesota Vikings. The New York Giants, coming to Ford Field on Sunday, had another tough defeat, 27-21 to the Arizona Cardinals. Both teams now on losing streaks, 3 straight. But Dan, it's another rookie quarterback facing the Detroit Lions, Daniel Jones of Duke. Before we go to the X's and O's, tell us what you've seen about Daniel Jones.
Well, he's done a good amount of good things for this offense. Obviously, a very unique situation. The thing with him, Mike, is he'll throw the ball to the right place. You know, he's a very smart player. He's an athletic player. He knows where the football should go more often than not. Now, as defenses have caught on to him, some of that has changed and whatnot, but he's a good athletic player that probably has made more plays with his feet than people expected.
Okay, we're going to go to the first quarter of last week's game against the Arizona Cardinals. It's 3rd and 13 at the 36-yard line coming out for the Giants. Give us the X's and O's on this interception. Break it down. Tell us what you see.
Yeah, well, we just mentioned the arm strength, and one of the things that you want to do against a quarterback that doesn't have great arm strength is play zone coverage, because you have eyes on the quarterback and eyes on the football, and once that football gets triggered on the throw, you can get all those people driving towards it. And again, it's going to take just a second longer or half second longer for the football to get there. And I think that's something that teams are picking up on with Daniel Jones. Is he's a smart player, but when you play zone, you got to figure out what the defense is in. It's not man coverage. And so what zone are you in? Where should the football go? And where is the color to not throw it? And then 2, okay, now we've got eyes on a quarterback that's arm strength is okay. It's adequate, but can we drive on the football and not allow it to get there because of maybe the ability to drive it into some windows and some seams? And so, you know, that's something for the Lions to look at, is a team that loves to play a ton of man coverage on defense. Do they want to utilize playing some zone coverage and force him to throw it into tighter windows? Less, you know, when you play man coverage, you have to make more accurate throws to the person. When you play zone coverage, you have to make more accurate throws into windows. And that might be something the Lions should look to, playing more zone coverage, driving on the football, and forcing tight window throws.
All right, Dan Orlovsky, we're going to move ahead to the second quarter. The New York Giants fall behind 17-0, which is not exactly the perfect formula for a young quarterback. But here the Giants have a 2nd and 4 at their 27 coming out. And Saquon Barkley, one of the great young players in the National Football League, the running back, starting to come back from an ankle injury. 2nd and 4 at the 27. Break it down. Tell us what you see on this 20-yard run.
Well, you mentioned how great Saquon is, and this is a team that's starting to run the football pretty good. What they like to do is get you to commit numbers and run away from it. What I mean by that is, to stop the run, as a defense, you do it 2 ways. You commit numbers or you pressure. So they put a wide receiver on a cut split, they put the tight end to that side, and then they put the fullback to that side. You as a defense go, okay, they're going to run the football that way with all their strength and numbers. You have to decide, are you going to drop a safety down there? Because what the Giants like to do is get you to commit your numbers and run away. You see, I talked about the strength of their formation, and then they run to the weak side. And so that will be an interesting thing for the Lions to determine how they want to line up defensively when the Giants get in some of their run formations. Is, are you going to commit numbers to the strength side? Because you see number 32. So for the safety for Arizona, if he drops down to the strength side, they run weak. If he drops down to the weak side, they're going to run strong. And so the Lions need to play the disguised cat and mouse game of maybe dropping down and supporting the run late, so the Giants don't know where that support is going to be and don't have the run numbers advantage. But they like to get into strong formations and run weak.
Sorry, Dan, but what is sort of the dilemma that they put you into with a guy like Barkley, who had 1,300 yards rushing, 1,300 and some yards rushing as a rookie, and 700 receiving?
Nothing he can't do. You can't treat him as a running back. You have to treat him as a football player. And so just because you have numbers down doesn't mean you can stop the run. He will run through tacklers, and you have to be incredibly aware of where he is on every pass play, whether he's lined up as a receiver or out of the backfield or in the screen game.
All right, let's move along now. It's 1st and 5 at the 48-yard line, and a familiar face, familiar hands, and familiar play. Golden Tate caught 416 passes in 4+ seasons of the Detroit Lions. Break it down. Give us the X's and O's. What do you see on this 20-yard catch?
Well, I see shallows, and this is a big part of this offense, is shallow crosses, where that receiver will cross at about 4 or 5 yards. and they'll do it in a ton of different formations in a ton of different ways. And they try to get you picked, running into defenders, not being able to pass off those route concepts. And this is something that Golden Tate can still do really well. Like you had mentioned, Lions fans do it. Lions fans know of it well. They looked at Saquon Barkley as the number one. If you fly out to Saquon, here comes that shallow. And again, this is not something that just Golden will do in this offense. So as a defense, don't lose this game or don't give up a ton of yards and points in this game because you got beat on a bunch of shallow crosses. How are you going to defend them in the zone? Are you going to pass them off? Are you going to defend them in man? Are you going to run with them? And so that's the big thing is those second level defenders, the linebackers and the drop down safeties, or guys playing in the inside, the slots. How are you guys going to, what's the plan to defend the shallows and to be picked as a defensive guy or not pass things off as a defensive guy is inexcusable because you have to know it's coming. And so that'll be a big thing for them is what's the game plan and then how do they communicate and execute that game plan throughout because the Giants want to throw a ton of shallow crosses.
Well, here's a little different one coming up, and it's the next play, Danny-O. It's 1st and 10 at the 28, and it's a deep middle throw to the tight end, Rhett Ellison, for a touchdown. Break it down. Give us the X's and O's. Tell us what you see.
Okay, so first of all, you see the two tight ends up top with Saquon on his side. That is formation into the boundary. Usually you will see it in a different way where the tailback would then be to the field. Now, you're going to get Golden Tate going from the slot all the way to the boundary on a jet motion fake. You have snapped the ball, and there's 4 people into the boundary. You've left one guy to the field and basically brought the whole defense from one hash all the way into the boundary, right? The Giants will use some unique formations to get numbers advantage. Now, this is not a new play. This is all go special. We're 4 verticals. Now, we usually see this because naturally the 3 receivers that are streaking down the field that we see on the left side or at the top of the screen, those guys are often on the bottom of the screen to the field strength where there's more space. The Giants will do this, which is a college concept where they'll put those guys into the boundary, and it makes it really difficult to defend. There's multiple people to throw this football to. It's a great throw by Daniel Jones, but there's also the 2-on-1 at the top of the screen between the receiver down the seam and going down the sidelines. And so distribution is going to be big for the Lions defense. The Giants in their pass game will attack you with shallow crosses, and then they'll attack you with different formations and try to get you to really play one half of the football field with less people. They left one defender on half the football field and then attacked that half of the football field in their pass game. So formation recognition and field distribution will be really important for the Lions and how they allocate their numbers, where they put people on the field.
Well, that makes it 17-7, and the Giants really come back and make a game of it, but they never get over the top. They end up losing their 3rd straight. Dan-O, before we call it a wrap for this week, the Lions have had trouble stopping the run. They've had some trouble stopping the pass and getting to the quarterback. If you could break it down, what is the key for the Detroit Lions defensively against this rookie quarterback, Daniel Jones?
Yeah, go away from the norm a little bit, Mike. I think you got to play some zone coverage against him, make him make decisions with the football and make him fit the ball into tight windows. I don't think you play man coverage and you go, oh, like recess, that guy's better than your guy, and I'll just throw it to him a ton. So I'd play some zone, put eyes on the football, and see if we can force some turnovers.
All right, Dan Orlovsky, that's a wrap for this week. We'll see how it works out. Lions-Giants, Ford Field, kickoff, 1 o'clock on Sunday.